Reach for the speed, reach for the whistle, go where the rail may run. Reach for the words, reach for the story, follow the rainbow sun. To a shining time station, where dreams can come true, waiting there for you.
Here! Oh, good.
Hiya, kids.
Hi, Aunt Stacy.
What are you doing with these water glasses?
Okay, each one has a different sound, and together they make the scale.
Really?
Ah, Mr. Conductor, come on in. Stay a while.
Well, don't mind if I do, Billy.
Hey, Mr. Conductor. How's Thomas and Bertie and James and Edward and everyone else on the island?
Wow. Let me think. Well, good, very good, pretty good, and awful.
I think you're going to have to explain a little bit better than that, Mr. Conductor.
Explain what?
Well, explain what's happening on the island of Sodor.
Well, that's what I've been trying to do. Thomas was having a good day, but Bertie wasn't having a good day at all. Well, let me tell you about it.
Thomas the Tank Engine was feeling bright and cheerful. It was a splendid day. Good morning, he whistled to some cows, but the cows didn't reply. Never mind, said Thomas, they're busy with their breakfast. Next, he saw Bertie. Hello, Bertie. Care for a race today? But all Bertie could say was, ouch! That's another hole in the road. I'm sorry, Bertie, smiled Thomas. Thomas was still in good spirits when Bertie arrived at the next station. Bad luck, Bertie. Now, if you were a steam engine, you would run on a pair of reliable rails. Huh, replied Bertie. The railway was supposed to deliver tar to mend the road 2 weeks ago. You can't trust a thing that runs on rails. I run on rails. You can trust me, Bertie. I'll see if I can find out what's happened. And Thomas puffed away towards the big station. James was snorting about in the yard. It's too bad, he grumbled. Percy goes to work at the harbor and I do his job. Here, there, and everywhere. Take that! Oh, groaned the freight cars. Just you wait. We'll show you. Gordon laughed. I'll tell you what, James. If you pretended to be ill everywhere, you couldn't shunt freight cars here or go to the quarry there, could you? What a good idea, agreed James. Look, here comes Thomas. I'll start pretending now. Thomas was sorry to see the engines looking miserable. Cheer up, he puffed. It's a beautiful day. Yes, grumbled Gordon, but not for James. What's the matter? Asked Thomas. He's sick, replied Gordon. Yes, he is. I mean, I am, stuttered James. I don't feel well at all. Don't worry, said Thomas kindly. I'll help out if you're ill. Gordon and James snickered quietly to each other. Some of James's cars were coupled behind Thomas and he steamed away to the quarry. The cars were still cross. We couldn't pay James back for bumping us, so we'll play tricks on Thomas instead. One engine is as good as another. But Thomas didn't hear them. He collected all the stone from the quarry and set off back to the junction. Danger lay ahead. Now for our plan, giggled the cars. Go faster, go faster. They pushed Thomas over the switches. Slow down, called Thomas's driver and applied the brakes. Poor Thomas stood dazed and surprised in a muddy pond as a toad eyed him suspiciously. Bust my buffers, muttered Thomas. The day started so well, too. Duck pulled away the cars, and Edward helped Thomas back to the junction. Suddenly, Thomas remembered the missing tar. He told Edward all about it. "That's strange," said Edward. "A car full of tar has been left at my station. That must be it. Driver will make sure it gets to Bertie now." Later, James spoke to Thomas. "I'm sorry about your accident," he muttered, "and so is Gordon. We didn't mean to get you into trouble." "No, indeed," spluttered Gordon. "A mere misunderstanding, Thomas. All's well that ends well." Just then, Bertie arrived. He looked much more cheerful. "My road's being mended now." "Oh, I am glad," replied Thomas. "Thanks for all you did," added Bertie. "Now I know I can trust an engine, especially if his name is Thomas." Gordon and James puffed silently away to the shed, but Thomas still had company. "Well, well," he sighed, "what a day for surprises." The toad, who was looking forward to a ride home, noisily agreed.
Thomas showed once again that he's a trustworthy engine who can always be counted on.
Are you catching a cold?
No. It's nothing. I'm fine. In fact, I'm going to take a trip.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the South Pole to visit a friend of mine. He's a penguin.
Oh, Mr. Conductor, you're not pretending to be sick like James. You're really getting a cold. I don't think you should be going anywhere, especially not to the South Pole. Oh, it's so cold there, and look, you're hardly dressed for it.
Please don't worry about me. Even if I had a cold, I could just use my magic to make it vanish.
If you're not feeling 100%, your magic may not be 100%.
That's right. All sorts of things could go wrong.
Well, don't worry. Everything will be fine. I really must be going. Oh, no! I've got to try that again.
I hope he'll be all right.
Me too.
Yeah, he's not taking very good care of himself. Something's wrong.
You know what's wrong? You have too much water in these 2 glasses. Here, Billy, have some. I'll have some of this. This water tastes a little strange.
It's kind of, tingly.
Billy, do you think Mr. Conductor's magic could be sick too?
Well, Dan,
People don't take very good... What's happened to my voice?
Billy, you sound just like me. What's happening to my voice?
Mr. Conductor's magic dust must be in the water.
Here, you take a sip of this one, and then I'll take a sip of this one.
All right.
We have to get Mr. Conductor back here to fix this. Come on, let's go.
Me. He's a doer, he's a dreamer, he's absolutely schemer, and he's me. And he's me.
Hello, young fellow. Nice haircut.
Thank you. Who said that?
I did. Who else would talk about your hair?
You can talk.
I can talk about your hair. It's really nice. I ought to know. As a balloon, I get to see lots and lots of haircuts.
This is great. I have a talking balloon with an exceptional amount of intelligence. This time, I can make a fortune. I can charge people money to talk to you.
Hey, I don't just talk to anyone, you know.
Oh, no, of course not. I mean, obviously you have standards. I mean, after all, you're talking to me. I'll tell you what, we'll just talk to people with a lot of class.
I want my own private supply of helium.
Oh, anything you want, baby. Now, let's continue our conversation about my beautiful hair and good looks.
We'll be right back. Chug, chug, chugging into Shining Time Station.
Here's the plan. We'll play Mr. Conductor's favorite song, and maybe he'll hear it and come back.
Okay.
Tis
is I, fans, the great Tito, and I'd like to thank all the little people who made this possible.
Must be thanking his aunts.
You're just jealous.
Okay, Big Shot. Here's a chance to show your puppet what you can do.
Kasha Bailey had an engine, it was always wanting mending. And according to the power, she could do 4 miles an hour. Did you ever see such a funny thing before? On the night run up from Gower, she did 20 miles an hour as she whistled through the station. Man, she frightened half the nation. Did you ever see such a funny thing before? Kasha Bailey's Auntie Anna, she played on the grand piano. She went hammer, hammer, hammer. All the neighbors said can't stand her. Did you ever see such a funny thing before? Oh, the sight, it was heart-rending. Kasha drove his little engine and he got stuck in the tunnel and went up the bloomin' funnel. Kasha Bailey, he didn't die, and they put him in a coffin, but alas, they had a knock-in. Kasha Bailey only joshin'. Did you ever see such a funny thing before? Kasha Bailey had an engine, it was always wanting mending, and according to the power, she could do 4 miles an hour. Did you ever see such a funny, such a funny, such a funny?
Hey, Caps, what's going on? We're out of control. Full plug. How do you stop this thing? What's going on? Sex full plug. Greg's helping me. Dee Dee, this tempo's too fast. Grace, slow down the bass. Tito's out of control. Tito's out of control.
I don't feel very well. Yes. I suppose you're right. Very well. I'll do my best. All right, now come on. You and Billy stand together. Come on. There, that's it.
Mr. Thank goodness. Mr. Conductor, I warned you not to go to the South Pole. You should have known better.
But I had to go to the South Pole.
The only thing you had to do was stay home in bed and get some rest.
That's right. Your body was telling you to stay in bed and get some rest, but you wouldn't listen.
No, I wouldn't. But you see, the South Pole is where the penguins live.
Yes?
Well, they're my size. And sometimes I just want to be with my friends who are little like me.
Conductor, you can stay here and rest and get over your cold. Yeah, we'll make a bed and take care of you.
Really? You would do that? Well, then I must get into my pajamas. I can't possibly get better unless I'm in my pajamas. I'll be back before you can say, you made this for me?
Yeah, so you can rest and grow strong again. It even has holes in it, so you can breathe when the top is on.
I'm not used to people doing special things for me.
You want us to tell you a story?
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you guys know when you need stories? Nope.
Well, how about I tell you a story?
Okay, yeah.
This is a story about Henry, the green engine. He had an accident and then came back from the works with a wonderful new shape. I warned you beforehand, it has some sneezing in it, so stand back.
Gordon was cross. Why should Henry have a new shape? He grumbled. A shape good enough for me is good enough for him. He goes gallivanting off, leaving us to do his work, and comes back saying how happy he feels. It's disgraceful. And there's another thing. Henry whistles too much. No respectable engine ever whistles loudly at stations. It isn't wrong, but we just don't do it. Poor Henry didn't feel happy anymore. Never mind, whispered Percy. I'm glad you're home again. I like your whistling. Goodbye, Henry, called Gordon. We're glad to have you with us again, but remember what I said. Later, Henry stopped at Edward's station. Hello, Henry, said Edward. You look splendid. I was pleased to hear your happy whistle yesterday. Thank you, Edward, smiled Henry. Shh! Can you hear something? It sounds like Gordon, said Edward, and it ought to be Gordon. But Gordon never whistled like that. It was Gordon. He came rushing down the hill at a tremendous rate. He didn't look at Henry, and he didn't look at Edward. He screamed straight through the station and disappeared. Well, said Edward. It isn't wrong, chuckled Henry, but we just don't do it. And he told Edward what Gordon had said. Meanwhile, Gordon screeched along the line. The noise was awful. At the station, everyone covered their ears. Sir Topham Hatt covered his ears, too. Take him away, he bellowed, and stop that noise. Gordon puffed sadly away, but he wouldn't stop whistling until two fitters climbed up and knocked his whistle valve in place. That night, Gordon slunk into the shed. He was glad it was empty. It isn't wrong, murmured Henry to no one in particular, but we just don't do it. No one mentioned whistles. Next morning, Henry was enjoying himself enormously. I feel so well, I feel so well, he sang. Trickety-trock, hummed his coaches. Then he saw some boys on a bridge. Beep, beep, hello, he whistled. Oh, he called. The boys didn't wave and take his number. They thought it fun to drop stones on him instead. They've broken our glass! They've broken our glass! Cried the coaches. The passengers weren't hurt, but they were cross. Call the police! No, said the driver. Leave it to Henry and me. What will you do? They asked. Can you keep a secret? Yes, yes. Well then, said the driver, Henry is going to sneeze at those boys. Lots of people were waiting at the station just before the bridge. They wanted to see what would happen. Henry has plenty of ashes, said the driver. Please keep all windows shut till we've passed the bridge. Henry's as excited as we are, aren't you, old fellow? Henry felt more stuffed up than excited. Soon they could see the boys, and they all had stones. Are you ready, Henry? Said the driver. Sneeze hard when I tell you. Now, he said. Achoo! Well done, Henry, laughed his driver. Henry went home, hoping that next time he saw Gordon and the boys, they would have learned not to be so mean. Sometimes a sneeze can come in handy. I'm getting sleepy. Thank you for the story.
Well, you told it to us, Mr. Conductor.
Oh, yes. Well, I thank me then.
You rest now and get your strength back.
Is back on track.
My talking balloon won't talk anymore.
Really? Maybe you ran out of things to say.
Yeah. I was only talking about my hair and how good-looking I was all the time. I mean, you could hardly blame it.
Becky! Becky! You got me a present, Becky! Oh, Becky, here, hold this. Oh, isn't that nice? Ooh. What is it? 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 I know. You want me to wait until my birthday, but the schemer, every day's his birthday. A scarf and some earmuffs for a doll? What do I want this for? I already got a scarf and an earmuff for my doll.
Hey, do you think Mr. Conductor is back to his old self again? I guess all he needed was a little rest and someone to take care of him.
The Yuletide's far away, but Rudolph's nose will shine, 'cause Santa's taking out the sleigh in daylight savings time. Oh, what a scene! Wear sunscreen, Christmas in July. This snowman will need a fan or he will liquefy. Hey! That's right!